So you think if you just had more money, more success, more pleasure, you'd finally be happy? Solomon thought the same thing, and then he actually did it. He lived every fantasy you've ever had. Unlimited wealth, unlimited pleasure, unlimited achievement. And Ecclesiastes 2 is his after-action report. Spoiler alert. It didn't work. But here's what's wild. Solomon's experiment proves something psychologists only discovered in the last 50 years. And if you're chasing happiness through success, this chapter is about to save you decades of disappointment. Ecclesiastes 2:1. I said to myself, "Come now, I will test you with pleasure. Enjoy what is good." But it proved to be futile. Solomon's running the ultimate hedonism experiment. He's saying, I'm going to systematically try everything that's supposed to make people happy, and I'm going to do it with unlimited resources. Let's see what happens. Verse 3. I sought to cheer my body with wine, and to embrace folly, until I could learn what was worthwhile for men to do under heaven during the few days of their lives. This wasn't some drunken party phase. This was a scientific experiment. Solomon is approaching pleasure like a researcher. Let me test this hypothesis. Does alcohol and foolishness lead to lasting satisfaction? Answer. Keep reading. Verses 4-8 are Solomon's resume of achievements, and it's honestly absurd. I expanded my pursuits. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. I made gardens and parks for myself. I acquired men servants and maid servants. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I accumulated for myself silver and gold, and the treasure of kings and provinces. I gathered to myself male and female singers, and the delights of the sons of men, concubines of every kind. Let me translate that into modern terms. Solomon built a real estate empire. He created an entertainment business. He had an agricultural dynasty. He accumulated more wealth than Bezos and Musk combined. He had every form of artistic expression at his fingertips. And, yes, 700 wives and 300 concubines means he had more sexual partners than the entire catalog of every dating app ever created. This is peak hedonic adaptation. You know what hedonic adaptation is? It's what psychologists discovered in the 1970s. The phenomenon where humans quickly return to a baseline level of happiness, regardless of positive or negative events. You get the promotion, happy for 2 weeks, then back to baseline. You buy the car, excited for a month, then it's just your car. You get the relationship, thrilling at first, then it normalizes. Solomon discovered hedonic adaptation 3,000 years before psychologists gave it a name. Verse 10-11. Anything my eyes desired, I did not deny myself. I refused my heart no pleasure. When I considered all that my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, I found everything to be futile, a pursuit of the wind. There was nothing to be gained under the sun. I refused my heart no pleasure. Read that again. Nothing was off limits. Every desire indulged, every fantasy fulfilled. Every, if I just had that, then I'd be happy. Solomon had it. And his scientific conclusion? Futile. Chasing wind. Nothing gained. Now here's where this gets personal. How many of you are grinding 80 hours a week because you think the next level of success will finally make you content? How many are scrolling through Amazon at midnight, thinking the next purchase will fill the void? How many are swiping through dating apps, thinking the next person will complete you? Solomon's already run your experiment. He already tested your hypothesis with unlimited resources and came back with the data. It doesn't work. Not because you're doing it wrong, not because you need more of it, but because pleasure, achievement, and possessions are fundamentally incapable of providing lasting satisfaction. They're hebel, vapor. They give you a hit, then evaporate. But wait, before you spiral into nothing matters, why bother? That's not Solomon's conclusion either. Look at verse 24. Nothing is better for a man than to eat and drink and enjoy his work. I have also seen that this is from the hand of God. Hold up. Is Solomon contradicting himself? First he says, everything is meaningless. Now he's saying, enjoy your food and work? Here's what you're missing. And this is crucial. Solomon isn't saying, don't enjoy things. He's saying, don't worship things. There's a massive difference. Enjoying your work is a gift from God. Building things, creating things, achieving things. These can be good. The problem is, when you make them your source of meaning, instead of your expression of meaning you already have. When you enjoy your meal as a gift from God, it's beautiful. When you chase another meal, thinking that will finally satisfy your soul, you're worshiping vapor. Look at verse 17. So I hated life, because the work that is done under the sun was grievous to me. For everything is futile, a pursuit of the wind. Some of you just felt seen. I hated life. The Bible validates your depression. Solomon, the wisest, richest, most successful man who ever lived, also hated life sometimes. Your feelings are biblical. You're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're experiencing what Solomon experienced when he tried to find ultimate meaning in temporal things. And here's the gift. You don't have to spend 40 years and unlimited wealth to learn this lesson. Solomon already paid that price and left you the research notes. Verses 22 to 23 hit different when you're burnt out. What does a man get for all his labor and anxious striving under the sun? Indeed, all his days are filled with grief, and his task is sorrowful. Even at night, his mind does not rest. This too is futile. Even at night, his mind does not rest. That's you lying awake at 3 a.m. thinking about work. That's you unable to enjoy vacation because you're stressed about what's waiting when you get back. That's you finally achieving the goal, but already anxious about the next one. Solomon's saying, yeah, I know. I've been there. And I'm telling you, you're on a treadmill that doesn't lead anywhere. Here's what you can do this week. Pick one thing you've been thinking. If I just had that, I'd be happy. Could be a purchase, a promotion, a relationship status, whatever. And ask yourself, has anything like this ever provided lasting satisfaction before? Or did it feel good for a bit and then normalize? Be honest. Because Solomon's experiment proves the pattern is universal. Then, and this is important, don't beat yourself up for wanting things. Don't try to become some emotionless monk. Solomon isn't saying, don't want anything. He's saying, stop expecting temporal things to do what only eternal things can do. Enjoy your work, but don't worship it. Enjoy your achievements, but don't find your identity in them. Enjoy pleasure, but don't expect it to fill the God-shaped hole in your soul. The things under the sun are gifts to be enjoyed, not gods to be served. Here's the truth bomb that secular psychology will never tell you. The hedonic treadmill exists because you were made for something beyond the hedonic. You were designed for eternity. So, temporal pleasures will always feel insufficient. That restlessness isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's supposed to drive you upward, not just onward. Solomon spent decades and unlimited resources to learn what you can learn in 8 minutes. Pleasure doesn't satisfy. Achievement doesn't satisfy. Possessions don't satisfy. Not because they're evil, but because they're not God. And until you stop asking them to be God, you'll stay on the treadmill wondering why the destination never arrives. That's the wisdom Ecclesiastes offers. That's the gift of Solomon's expensive experiment. You don't have to waste your life chasing vapor. You can learn from someone who already chased it all and came back with the receipts. Subscribe for the next chapter, because Solomon's about to get even more brutally honest about what actually matters. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.